Section 4.6 is called Using CPCTC. CPCTC stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So how are we going to use this? Notice that where we're being asked to prove that a couple of angles are congruent, as opposed to all the other problems that we've been working with, have asked us to prove that triangles are congruent. Well, the idea here is if we prove the two triangles are congruent first, then if the triangles are congruent, any corresponding sides or angles are also congruent. So let's set up our T. And let's first prove that the two triangles in the diagram are congruent. And then once we've proven that those two triangles are congruent, then we can say that the angle LCS is congruent to the angle RCS, which are these little angles up here. Okay, but I don't want those to be there right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say that angle LSC is congruent to angle RSC, and that was given to us. And that would be these little angles right here. So let's cross that off. Statement 2 would be that the side SL is congruent to the side SR. That was also given. And that's these little notch marks right here. So what else do we know between the two triangles? Well, we know that they share a side. So I'm going to say CS is congruent to itself, and that would be by the reflexive property. Okay, so I'm going to triple notch that. And now I can say that the triangle LCS is congruent to the triangle RCS. And my reasoning would be side angle side. And because the two triangles are congruent, then I can say that angle LCS is congruent to angle RCS. And my reason is that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And yep, it's a mouthful, and we don't want to have to say that whole thing, and that's why we use the abbreviation CPCTC. So what we just proved was that this little angle LCS is congruent to this little angle RCS using CPCTC. Okay, let's try another one. So once again, we're being asked not to prove that two triangles are congruent, but we're being asked to prove that two sides are congruent. So we'll prove the triangles first, and then we'll say that the sides are congruent by CPCTC. So make your T. Statements on the left, reasons on the right. Statement number 1 is that angle GED is congruent to angle FED. That was given to us, and that's been marked up here at the top. This little guy is congruent to this little guy. So we're finished with that. Then we're told that angle, this looks not exactly correct. Angle GED and angle FED are not right angles, so let's fix this right here. It should be angle GDE FDE are right angles. So GDE and FDE are right angles. Sorry about that mistake. Given. And I'm going to put one extra step in here that's going to say that angle GDE is congruent to angle FDE. And the reason why I'm saying that the two triangles are congruent is because all right angles are congruent to each other. All right angles are congruent. So now I'm going to say that, looking at my diagram, they share the side ED. So I can say ED is congruent to itself. That's that reflexive property again. Let's call it reflexive prop. And the two triangles, therefore, are congruent by angle side angle. So I'm going to say triangle GED is congruent to triangle FED by ASA. That's my reason. And because the triangles are congruent, I can therefore say that EF must be congruent to EG, which is what we were trying to prove. And my reason is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And what was it that we just proved? We just proved that this side was congruent to this side. And that's pretty much it. That's how the CPCTC works. We'll practice it more in class.